cheek to cheek. Vogue is born. Star show of stars are on the street. Palm Springs walk of stars. Magical stardom is everywhere on the famous boulevard. If you take a walk down this famous boulevard, everyone you pass is looking at the top of the Buddy had a funny baby doll, Thin Man, William Powell, Sonny. The beat goes on, Gerald Ford, President, Elvis the Queen. Dinah showed Papa John, Phillips, Rich, Little, everyone. George Hamilton has a 10. Connie Stevens, cookies, going the famous female teacher. That's love, Dolores, Hey, Red, and Ray, Porter, Nana, Straw, Al, Joseph, Mammy, Ginger, Roger, Stance, Johnny, Chili, Wally, Girl, Sweetheart, Mary, Jackie, Queen Bee. That's on the street.
Like Mary and I
Palm Springs walk of stars. Magical stardom is everywhere on the famous boulevard. Welcome, James Ricardo, Queen of West, Terry, Mr. Blackie, Stars of Styles, Laura, Goddess, Sophia, Charlie Farrell, Racket Club, Flamboyant, Liberace, Liz, Taylor, Violet, Artist, Grayson, Natural Blue Eyes, Zero Man, Sexy Show, Darth Vader, Jesse Jones, Lady Galler, Anna Jazz, Sugar, Donald, Dance, Howard Keeler, Cecile, Ada Hart, Ruby Keeler, Dance, Johnny Man, Singers, Alan Berger, Shane, Debbie Rivers, Molly Brown, Roy and Dale, Robert Stack, Elliot Ness, Nathan Deals, Martin Hall, Leslie Nielsen, Airplane,
I wasn't there.
Oh, you went there today?
Palm Springs walk of stars. Magical stardom is everywhere on the famous boulevard.
My brother's in town. He went to the casino last night.
To play to fame, stars in the springs, stylish cheek to cheek.
We've never been down there.
Star show of stars.
What time do they start on Saturday?
Palm Springs walk of stars. Magical stardom is everywhere on the famous boulevard. Everyone you pass.
He said on Friday night that's the whole thing.
Buddy, Happy, Funny Man, Carol, Baby Doll, Thin Man, William Powell, Sonny, the beat goes on, Gerald Ford, President.
She's trying to be fashionably late.
Kisses and really lots of shows, Molly Hines, working on, cheated, Tarzan's friend, Papa John, Phillips, Rich, Little, everyone, George Hamilton has a 10,
You don't find 10 minutes late.
Golden Days, female teacher,
You are over?
Joseph Mann, Ginger, Roger Stance, Johnny Chase, Wally, Sweetheart, Mary, Jackie, Queen of the Palm Springs walk of stars. Magical stardom is everywhere on the famous boulevard.
I know. That's beautiful.
Queen of West, Terry, Mr. Blackie, Stars of Stars, Charlie Farrell, Bregman, Flamboyant, Taylor, Blue Eyes, Zero Man, Darth Vader, Jesse Jones, Lady Galler, Jazz, Song and Dance, Johnny Man, Singers, Alan Berger, Shane, Debbie Rivers, Molly Brown, Roy and Dale, Queen, Robert Stack, Elliot Ness, Nathan Deals, Martin Hall, Leslie Nielsen, Airplane, Going for Call,
got a silver star.
together and
No, it's a gold star.
Salvation for the city.
Wow.
Is this a beautiful day in Palm Springs or what?
Yeah!
Well, thank you all so much for being here. You know, the Walk of Stars is a wonderful, wonderful institution for the city of Palm Springs. It gives us an opportunity to recognize illustrious persons who have contributed so much to the city of Palm Springs, to the state, and indeed to the nation. And today we are particularly honored to be here for a very, very special presentation. And so I'm going to read this proclamation in behalf of the mayor, in behalf of the city council, and the citizens of Palm Springs. Whereas there shall be a special dedication ceremony on the sidewalk in the city of Palm Springs at 144 South Palm Canyon Drive in front of C's Candies on Saturday, January 9, 2010 at 2 p.m., honoring Dr. Judy Hollis with the 326 Golden Palm Star. And whereas, in conjunction with this ceremony, the citizens of Palm Springs will pay tribute to Dr. Judy Hollis, whose illustrious career has added significantly to the world prominence of this beautiful desert oasis. And whereas, after completion of undergraduate school, Dr. Judy Hollis worked developing programs for heroin addicts. That experience garnered her a federal grant to attend graduate school at the University of Southern California. And whereas, upon graduation, Dr. Judy Hollis was hired by the Navy to lead groups and to teach assertiveness training. She was part of the pioneering team that treated national political figures and helped bring public awareness to our growing epidemic of alcoholism. And whereas Dr. Judy Hollis has appeared on a number of times on Oprah's television show, Teaching the Nation, about the obesity epidemic. Her first book became a national bestseller, and it generated many appearances not only on Oprah, but on Sally, on Maury, on Lisa, on Extra, on CNN, and on countless talk shows and news specials. And whereas, in recent years, Dr. Judy Hollis has been a guest lecturer at the Betty Ford Center, has written for Shape, Teen, Self, Elle, and Cosmopolitan magazines, and is actively involved in phone coaching and teleseminars and retreats in Palm Springs and New York, and continues to promote the cause of family treatment. Now, therefore, I, Rick Hutchison, in behalf of Mayor Steve Pugnier and the City Council and all the citizens of Palm Springs, by the power duly vested, hereby proclaim January 9, 2010 to be Dr. Judy Hollis Day.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Rick Hutchison. At this time, I'd like to welcome to the podium, representing Supervisor John J. Benoit's office, please welcome Legislative Assistant Linda Kearney, who will read and present their proclamation.
Hello everyone, it's such a great day to be here to celebrate Judy Hollis Day in the city of Palm Springs. It's great to be here representing Riverside County Supervisor John Benoit to congratulate Judy on her star on the Palm Springs Walk of Stars. We have a certificate for you of recognition, in recognition of your star, and again, congratulations.
Judy, face this way.
Thank you, Linda. Our next presenter is a Palm Springs Walk of Stars Board of Director. He's a former President Kennedy staff person, college president, and current Palm Springs business owner. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Charles Dunn, who will read and present a certificate from Congresswoman Mary Bono's office.
Well, congratulations, Dr. Hollis. I'm honored to have the opportunity to present a special certificate from Congressman Bono's office on this date to Dr. Judi Hollis from Mary Bono, Congresswoman.
Thank you. Thank you, Charles Dunn. Dr. Hollis, I have a letter from Lisa Gibbons that I would like to read to you. I met Dr. Judi Hollis in the early 80s, and I can tell you the stale bagels and weak coffee in the green room at the Lisa show were not the glamorous setting she has today on the Palm Springs Walk of Stars. It's thrilling to see Dr. Hollis and her work being recognized. Decades ago, when no one else was championing the cause of obese families, Dr. Hollis created centers which brought whole families into awareness. And she was great at decreasing stigma and increasing awareness. She brought onto my television shows families, sister teams, mothers, daughters, who educated the nation about the value of family treatment for permanent weight loss. Her work with mothers and daughters was particularly heartwarming and inspiring, and it continues to generate comments even to this day. I congratulate Dr. Hollis and all those who have been healed, or who are healing because of her pioneering efforts. This is a well-deserved honor. Welcome to the Palm Springs Walk of Stars, Judi. Signed, Lisa Gibbons. Our first speaker today is a business development associate at Betty Ford Center and was the administrative director for the first inpatient program for the treatment of eating disorders at San Pedro Peninsula Hospital under the direction of Dr. Judi Hollis. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Jerry Mcdonald.
Well, congratulations, Judi. Would you have ever believed this? I walked onto the floors at 4 Central at San Pedro Peninsula Hospital in the in the port area of Los Angeles over 30 years ago. And I was so excited. It was my first assignment in the profession of healthcare dealing with addictive diseases. And I would meet a staff that happened to be incredible. One of those incredible people was Dr. Judi Hollis. And in those days, Judi not only brought the knowledge of eating disorders and the treatment of eating disorders, but she was instrumental in making the statement that in order to treat the patient, you have to have the family as the patient. And she brought the entire focus of family systems approach to the treatment of eating disorders at our San Pedro Peninsula facility, and then on with many, many other opportunities for treatment in her career. So we thank you, Judi, and it's a privilege to be a part of this ceremony. Congratulations.
Thank you, Jerry McDonald. Our next speaker is a clinical psychologist and author of Love Secrets Revealed and 12 Stupid Things That Mess Up Recovery. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dr. Alan Berger.
Well, Judi, look at you. What amazing, just amazing. Judi and I met back in 1973. And that's when we were running family groups together. And that's when we were developing all these ideas about how you can't take an individual and treat it. It's like dropping your kidney off at the hospital. You've got to go with it if you're going to get some help. And that's what we saw when we were doing these groups together over at Western Institute of Human Resources is where we started. And it was just amazing when we saw these families heal. And we were just so moved by it. But you know, there's a few things I wanted to say. First of all, I've always believed that you can tell the worth of a clinician by how they change from their work. And the change I've seen in you, Judy, is just unbelievable. You've walked like you've talked. You looked at yourself when you were looking at other people's lives. You didn't just make it about them. It became very personal for you. And that's why you are who you are today. And I really commend you on that. Just great job. Great job. I'm so proud of you. The last thing I just wanted to say is that life is so filled with paradoxes, isn't it? And here we have one of them today. She's on the corner with See's Candy. I mean, that's holding the paradox, isn't it? It's really about that. I mean, really got to get that, because when life works, we hold those paradoxes in our life. And this is one of them. And I love you, Judy. Congratulations.
Thank you, Dr. Alan Berger. Our next speaker is the founder, CEO, and co-owner of Shades of Hope Treatment Facility. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Teenie McCarty.
Well, let me let the motorcycles pass by. Judy, what an honor. What an honor to be asked to do this. I come from a little different direction. Yes, I do own a treatment center, and yes, I am in the addiction field, but that's not really how I met Dr. Hollis. You know, that I have heard it said that when the student's ready, the teacher appears. And I was in the addiction field from the middle 70s. And in 1985, I was program director of an alcohol drug center while dying one day at a time from an eating disorder that I didn't know what it was. You know, everything starts on the east and west coast, moves toward the center, and Texas is the last to get the information. Now, I had had an eating disorder all my life, but I didn't know what it was. And I hired a young man from LA, hip, slick, and cool, to be a therapist there in Texas. And what he did is, in essence, did an intervention on me. You know, it's abusive to point out a problem without pointing out a solution. And I was very, very ill, very, very ill. And what this young man did, he asked if he could talk to me one day, and we sat in the library, and he said, "Tenny, I think you're a bull." And I said, "Alan, I think you're nuts. What are you talking about?" And he said, "I think you're a bulimic." I'd never heard the word. I didn't know what it was. And what he did is he handed me a book called Fat is a Family Affair by Dr. Judi Hollis. And I thought what he wanted me to do is come out here and get a little training to go along with what I was doing there. But what he said was, "You need to go see Dr. Hollis." And 4 days later, I was out here. And Judy, she did not cut me any slack. She was not very nice to me. You know, I wore my business suit out here and with my briefcase up under my arm, and the only thing in that briefcase was my insurance policy. But I wanted them to know who they were dealing with. If they were dealing with a counselor, and I'll tell you what, like I said, she didn't treat me very nice, but what she did is she put the disease, helped me see what I was dying from. And what you did, Judy, for me and my family literally has changed our lives. On the plane home, I made a commitment to God, to myself, and to Judy, without her even knowing it, that I was going to make it my life's work to help educate people on eating disorders, much like Dr. Hollis has. So because of you, Judy, there's thousands of people that are in recovery today, and without your being that pioneer spirit and keeping on one day at a time, I wouldn't be here. My daughter wouldn't be here. And, you know, you helped our whole family. And when you called and asked me if I would come do this, I could not say no. Why wouldn't I come and say thanks for someone who has given me my life? Thanks, Judy.
Thank you, Teenie McCarty. Our next speaker is retired business executive and Dr. Judi Hollis's best friend forever. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Beverly Rubinstein.
Hi, everybody. Congratulations to the City of Palm Springs, the County of Riverside, Lisa Gibbons, and all these brilliant people who have really come forward, understand with great discernment and tremendous judgment who is a deserving recipient. Yes. So it's very exciting to be here with Judy. I have a few things to tell you, though. You know, it's not all this. You're a tough act to follow, Tenny and Alan and Jerry, but let's get down, guys. Judy and I first met in 1982. I was chairman of a World Service convention at the Las Vegas Hilton, and we had a mutual friend, and everybody knew her in the fellowship, and she was like a household word with her treatment center and innovation and creativity, and she was on the edge. And I was dying to meet her, and my friend said, come on down, I'll introduce you to Judy. And we walk over to the registration table, and here's this woman in this outlandish outfit with a headband and a feather in her hair, and I said, whoa, this is Dr. Hollis. That's my kind of girl. And we just meshed. We looked in each other's eyes. We had instant karma. They talk about in friendship, you know, there are all levels of friendship. There's the bridge club and the tennis partner, but the friendship where your souls mesh, where you have a comfort level to walk the walk together, to know that you can say anything at any time. I think in all the years that we've been friends, and there's never been a disconnected time. We've always been friends. We've walked the walk and been there for each other. You know, when Judy was dating before she met her significant, wonderful Henry, I used to kind of sponsor her. And I was married, very stable, elegant woman with all the trappings, 46-year marriage. My husband died, and now I'm dating. Guess who's my sponsor? So what comes around goes around. It's a total delight to be here, to claim Judy. You know, there's a certain authenticity to people that you know, and Judy just keeps getting better. And you know what Alan said, you know, to watch her progress through the years, to walk the walk, you know, from success. This morning we heard a lecture at the Betty Ford Center, from success to significance. And here we are, baby. Thank you.
Susan Stafford, can you? Our next presenter is a Palm Springs Walk of Stars Board of Director. She is listed in the Guinness Book of World Records as the original hostess of Wheel of Fortune, the first woman to get a microphone, and be nominated for an Emmy on a game show. She wears many hats. After obtaining her PhD in psychology, Dr. Susan is a chaplain, therapist, and humanitarian who makes a difference in our world. Her book, Stop the Wheel, I Want to Get Off, will be published sometime next month. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dr. Susan Stafford.
I like that introduction. It's almost like I wrote it myself. Judy, Judy, Judy. Who ever thought Judy would be getting this star today, hey? I'm proud of you. I was talking to a couple of the people that really do know you, that you really did help. You don't know that I know them. Yeah? And you've helped a lot of people, Judy. So it's with great pleasure and sincere honesty that I read this to you, because I know how much you've given and what a long road it's been, but you've hung in there and helped so many. So please allow me. Dr. Judy Hollis, author, film, radio, television, please accept this star from us in tribute to you from the Walk of Stars. All the board here, all of you, with a lot of love. Thank you.
Kathy.
Thank you, Dr. Susan Stafford. Our next presenter is the Palm Springs Walk of Stars director. She was voted one of the 101 top influencers in the Coachella Valley by Palm Springs Life magazine. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Kathleen Bennett.
Hi, Dr. Judy. You know, I've been on the Palm Springs Walk of Stars. I'm secretary, and I've been on the board for quite a long time. And I know we've been waiting, I think, 2 years for this day. And so it's very exciting that we have the sun shining on you and all these wonderful people out here to congratulate you. Now, I'll tell you, I was kind of nervous. So over the last 2 years, I've dropped 30 pounds just so that today I could wear my slim outfit. Anyways, to complete the circle of the awards that we're giving you today before we unveil the star, I have your own pin that I'm going to give you, and so that you know you can always remember the Walk of Stars. You can wear it every day. You won't be walked on like you will here, and you can remember us. So do you want to come up here? Do you want me to come over there? Meet you halfway. We stand right here in front of everybody. I'll pin you. This is like a sorority, right?
Careful, Kathy.
Here we go. Congratulations.
Around this way, Jody.
Thank you, Kathleen Bennett. And now, ladies and gentlemen, would everyone like to hear from the lady of the hour? Please welcome Dr. Judy Hollis.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks so much for coming. I'm really jazzed. This is lovely. And Bob, thank you for all your help and how much hard work you do with all this. You've been just great to be with. You know, I don't know if you saw the movie Precious, but you know, this fat girl who was abused and living in the slums always had these fantasies of being this gorgeous, glamorous thing, you know? And that's kind of me. I grew up as a little fat girl. That's why I became interested in addictions and eating disorders. And now I get to be on the Walk of Stars. Hello. It's really beyond my wildest dreams. Hey, knock that off. Anyway, I'm really, really excited to be here and to be honored here because Palm Springs has always been the place where I pretty much kept a very low profile. I had a little mobile home out here, and I came out here to do my writing. I finished my 2nd and 4th books out here, and I didn't really want to have a public presence. I didn't want to wear makeup. You know how that is. And so I know that most of the people here, this is not because of really professional things, but because of friends, that these are good friends I've made over these years, and that's more important than anything. I'm very grateful for my professional life. I've loved it like crazy for many years, but I really never had a personal life. And you guys have helped me to be a person. And I'm really grateful about it. And, you know, we have a video camera here, and what I'd like to propose after we end here is, number one, we get some sugar-free cookies donated by Sherman's Deli. We have those over here on the table. And then each person here, if you could go up to the camera, those who would like to, and speak to the camera about your own personal 5-year plan. And what I'd like to propose is that the 5-year plan be about what footwork you intend to do to get toward what you'd like, and what little bit of magic you'd like to see happen as well, because that's what I've seen constantly throughout my life. I've been a very hard worker. I have a plaque on my desk. It says, the harder I work, the luckier I get. So I've been very hardworking, but also there've just been these serendipity, out of the blue moments that I had no plan about. But you know, doing the footwork gets you ready for those things to happen. One of our treatment centers was in Hollywood, and a lot of starlets used to say, well, I'm just waiting for my lucky break. I'm just waiting for my lucky break. But you know, the ones who took their classes and did their training, when their lucky break came, they were ready for it. And the ones who were just waiting kept waiting, you know. So, anyway, Alan and Jerry, we had so much fun in those early days. We used to do family groups out at my guest house behind the house. And I'll tell you something about Alan. One time, I think I was going to speak at the conference in Bangkok or something. I was writing a paper, and I said, Alan, what should we call these family members? You know, we call the primary patient, we call them the chemical dependent. What should we call these family members? And Alan said, why don't we call them codependents? And he was the guy who came up with that word. Now it's known everywhere. People even call people names with calling you a codependent. But Alan's the originator of that. And Jerry, you know, I watched him again this morning at the Betty Ford Center. He's the wind beneath everyone's wings. He bolsters everybody up and kind of stays in the background and lets other people get the glory. And that was certainly true in our early days, Jerry. Thank you very, very much. And my friend Beverly, I get to constantly witness and mirror myself. It's really nice to have somebody that simpatico with you, where they, you know, you can complete each other's sentences. I could say that about Henry too, but he seems to have left. But where is he? He's hiding. Anyway, and my brother David came out. Thank you so much for being here. And there's a lot of people, my friends, who know you and love to see you again, and his wife Stella. And Tenny from Texas, my God. You know, when I went down to visit her treatment center, she took us around, and I said, I want to go to a black gospel church. I just love that kind of music and all that goes on there. And I said, Tenny, isn't this the Bible Belt? She said, honey, this is the buckle. So anyway, there've just been so many surprises in my life. You know, when I wrote I left that first treatment center before I thought I was ready. I didn't want to leave, but I had to leave, and I was kind of demoralized. So that seemed like a tragedy to me. And what happened was it gave me time to finish my PhD and write my first book. And I said, okay, I'll write this book so that I can be out of the field. I'll say what I have to say, and people can read it if they want to know, and I can be done with this. And what happened was the book became a bestseller and slam dunked me totally back into the field. It wasn't my plan, but that's how that happened. And I was asked to go to Minneapolis to speak on a TV show. They said, you've got to come because this guy has written a book about teaching people to vomit responsibly. And, you know, he's talking this stuff, and you got to come debate him. We can't pay you or anything, but we want you here. I said, sure, I'll come. And as a result of that show, then 3 months later, a lady calls the woman who had been the assistant producer on that show. She said, you know, I've just moved to Chicago, and I'm helping launch a new show that's trying to go national to compete with Phil Donahue. So, Oprah Winfrey Show 3 times, you know? But these weren't things I tried for or pushed for. They're just kind of things that happened as I kept doing what I need to do every day. And as was mentioned, all the professional things I've done have just been because it also was needed for my own recovery to do the next thing that I needed to do. So, Alfred Lord Tennyson said, more things are wrought by prayer than this world dreams of. And my prayers have come true on every level in my life. I am so satisfied and happy. And there's another line that prayer doesn't change God, it changes the prayer. So as long as I can stay in that position of questing and asking and openness and receptivity, I change. And those are the kind of things I'm hoping you'll speak to the camera while we munch on our Sherman's cookies. So I think that's all I have to say. Mr. DeMille, we're ready for our close-ups. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Judy Hollis, for allowing the Palm Springs Walk of Stars to honor you today. I'd like to take just 1 minute to introduce our directors that are here today. They worked very hard to make the Palm Springs Walk of Stars a tremendous success. If you would stand and be recognized, Dave Carson. David is a consultant to many restaurants in Southern California. Mr. Bill Beck. Bill is promoting the Wild West Rodeo coming up, I believe, in March. Mr. Clancy Grass, originally from Canada, producer of many hit television shows, including Tom Jones and Paul Anka. And he's producing the Business Expo, I believe, for the city here this year. Mr. Herb Gronauer, agent to many, many stars, everyone from Mickey Rooney to Bob Hope to the Diamonds. Mr. Alan Bregman. Alan, for many, many years, was the marketing and entertainment director for Caesar's Palace and the Nederlander Group. Have I missed anyone? And our beloved Charlie Chaplin. I'd like to thank the entire City Council and the Mayor once again for their continued support, all of the dignitaries for presenting their proclamations, our Board of Directors, and each and every one of you for being here today. And now, the reason that we're all here for the unveiling of the 326th star on the Palm Springs Walk of Stars. Is Rick Hutchison still here?
All right. Are you ready?
Yeah, we're ready.
On the count of three.
We're at three.
1, 2, 3.